some point, I think when Australia began bowling short and realized it was working,
Hmm.
that was the moment I think the Lord's Test collapsed from being like this clash of ideologies that was sold before the series. It was baseball versus patient batting. It just became short pitch bowling from both sides. Like
Hmm.
it was clearly well executed and effective, but it was dull. Like I think that's something that people made a point of second, third, fourth day. We got a crazy finish outfit, but I think in addition to seeing the wickets, England will probably note that the short stuff is a good way to control runs against Australia.
Hmm.
Because their run rate actually fell from that morning session when they were batting in the second innings, where they were going at like 3.5 and over or something. And then in the session after that, when England actually started bowling short, their run rate collapsed. Like it was under two at one point, I think. So it's a good sort of useful way to control runs because Australia have shown themselves willing at different points in the series to match England's pace through guys like Head and Head is the main one basically. But yeah, just to sort of um, they don't lack for aggression either, right?
Yeah,
And Warner's got a 50 as well, which is a big thing.
there goes my call of fourth test.
Yeah. And obviously, like I think with Wood coming back into the team, possibly we'll see more of this, and we could see them using him as like a sort of like to control the runs, and that's going to be really interesting to watch in the third test. Um, but I honestly do think that England could have won this. Like 2-0 isn't an unfair result,
It could
but
have
it
been,
doesn't really tell the
could have
whole
been
story at
2
this
the
point.
other way very, very easily. Like it was literally one partnership. All they need to do was bloody knock off Cummins and Lyon in the last test, and all they needed to
Yeah.
do was not have a freaking 90-run deficit in this one.
Well
So
done. Yeah, exactly. Like, how did they concede a lead in that first innings? I don't get that. Like, they were 188 for one. No,
to be
180.
fair,
Yeah, they were 188 for
Australia
one,
was also like
chasing
200 for 2
460.
or whatever. So to be fair,
Yeah, 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 and it just completely imploded. Yeah, on that third innings, especially like the broken Bairstow wickets. I mean, you could see Cummins laughing. Like Cummins was laughing because he couldn't believe that the wickets were being gifted to them.
yeah.
Uh,
Oh, the
and
best
honestly, I think with
bullshit. That useless shot to mid on. That was very frustrating.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh my God. So, and it's just best was wicket keeping and the fact that they conceded so many extras with the ball, the batting collapse. Uh, it's just like,
Cool.
like
Okay,
the
well,
bowling. If the bowling and the fielding was better, Ben Stokes wouldn't have had to make 150 whatever to win them the game,
he got the
right?
150, didn't he? He got like 160 in the end or 155 or something, I think.
155. Yeah, yeah, it was
Oh,
155 at the end.
absolutely ridiculous.
And
Oh, yeah.
yeah, like that would have won them the game had they not had what 370 to chase,
370, I
which
think.
they could have easily avoided. Yeah.
That was and the thing is, like, even with that, like, oh, anyways, look, I'm trying to move forward here. I want to have a quick word about Stokes before we get into the women's Ashes. Any final points from you? Or are you happy for me to go into my 35?
No, that's pretty much that's pretty much what I wanted to say about England. I think they could have won and they just didn't.
Oh man, okay. Well, hopefully it's a different story because I gotta say, like, I it's an uphill task for England to win the three in a row, and obviously, right, Australia's an impressive side. They're 2-0 down in the series. I gotta say though, like the fact that it could have been very easily 2-0 the other way, and England's mentality, and most importantly, the fact that there's no Nathan Lyon. Um, to be honest, I'm one of the most optimistic people in the world. So I don't know. I still think it's very realistic to think that England can win 2 of the next 3 games. The only thing that frustrates me is that I know they just have to make one big mistake again, and it's like Australia will
Yeah,
be 1 or 4 or
win the
whatever.
series.
I genuinely think England will win at least one test, if not 2 of the next 3. What pisses me off is if Australia has another win in the next 2, it kills the buzz for the final. I just want
Yeah,
the series to be live as long as possible, and which is why it was even more important than like obviously England needs to win every game. Every team tries to win every
mm.
game, but from like a fan and like for the theater, I just didn't want 2-0
Mm.
because now like the pressure is just increased tenfold, and that sort of I just don't
Yeah,
want it to be a dead rubber. I don't want it to be.
yeah. Plus, if there's rain or something, then that's it, right? Then Australia
Well,
at least retain the Ashes.
hopefully the rain is around in the game, the next game or the game after. Because I reckon, like for example, if England win one of the next 2 games and the other one draws because of rain, I don't mind that because at least the last game has relevance. I just don't want 3-1 Australia leading into the last game.